So that's one way of adding some very cool anticipation to a rolling cube. But it's not the only way to add anticipation to a rolling cube. There are many, many ways to do this. So I'm just going to shift-click this layer, and that's going to reveal another half to our rig. This is a deformation part to the rig. It's actually a lattice that is independent of our cube, so it doesn't rotate with it. So when we can use the lattice to deform the cube underneath, but it's not going to ruin the rolling animations we've already done. And the best way to manipulate this lattice is with this armature. We'll just select it and go into pose mode, and if we hit R, you can see we can just rotate these bones and create some really cool deformation. I'm just going to hit Alt R to reset those bones. Additionally, we have this bottom bone, this scale bone, and if we hit S, we can scale that, and it will create beautiful squash and stretch animations with the greatest of ease. So this is cool, right? What we can do now is we can add extra layers of complexity to our anticipation. So I'm just going to show you very, very quickly a way of doing this. We can go to frame 20. We can, with the scale bone selected, insert keyframes. No, actually, do you know what? We'll hit A over the viewport, select all our bones, and then we'll hit I, and we'll insert keyframes for the whole character. There we go, so that'll take some complication out of it later on. And what we can do is just grab this scale bone, and we're going to come to around, I don't know, frame 30, and we'll hit S and scale it down so it squashes, and then we'll come to about frame 38 and scale it the other way so it stretches out, and then about frame 50, hit Alt S, hit Alt S to reset the scale. Now we'll hit Alt A to play back, and as you can see, with instantly it sort of pops into that anticipation roll, and you know, it looks a little bit more alive. Again, if we wanted to do some something even more complicated, because obviously our first move was to anticipate a motion forward by going backwards, so now we've actually anticipated going backwards by going down. So that's not 100% correct, is it? But, I mean, obviously, you can sort of squash down to create that energy, but we'd want some motion this way to make sense of it. We've already got some keyframes for the whole character here on frame 20, so by frame 30, we should be able to just squish some stuff back this way, and it'll create keyframes for us. So it's now done that. Oh my goodness gracious me. And it's sort of throwing itself forward in a really nice fashion. But I'm thinking, by this point, let's just Alt-R to correct that rotation back so it doesn't look too weird. And what? Oh, that's really nice. Later on in this series, we're going to cover overlap and follow-through. And perhaps once you've taken a look at all of those, you can come back and maybe add some overlap and follow-through to this rig, so that we really whip it around and really sort of get some cool stuff going on. I mean, look at that. It's just adorable. Additionally, very last point with this rig, if you get something like this where the you're getting some quite harsh distortions where the cube is falling outside of the lattice, just scale up the lattice. It can take it. It's quite happy to do that sort of deformation. So I'm going to go and finish up my version of this animation and get it rendered so I can show you, but I really want to see what you guys can make of this rig. It's really worth, once you've completed this tutorial, finish the series and come back to this rig, because it's got a lot of potential to do some really crazy stuff. So, you know, go through, learn the lessons, and then come back and try and apply them to this one. I mean, why not, right?